I don't know why it would mute me automatically. Anyway, my bad, y'all. Took it off. That was pretty fucking annoying. Keldon Johnson was asked. That's what we were in the middle of saying. And hopefully too many people didn't dip out with this crap ass totals and record on the screen while the sound's not working. Amateur hour. But the three bets that we got right, two of the sides there, only one of the props. We continue to fade Kelly Olynyk. That's what we do here. So we're going to figure it out moving forward. But appreciate y'all. Let me know. I couldn't hear me. Let's look into a couple of things that I did add real quick and go from there. On the season, I did want to say still up about 30 units, 29.8 on to the total there, and then 33.6 on these player props. Been keeping this record since about November, so we missed some of those games in the other one. But I'll put some stuff on this card here. Let me throw up on the bottom what we got going already in terms of what I've already bet here on the card to add to that video from last night. And if you did not see from last night real quick, Dame I got at 22.5. There's definitely none of those left. You might still could get a 23.5, but you're probably looking at 24.5 points for Dame in this one for good reason. LA does not defend point guards well. He's going to be looking at potentially, I don't know if this is going to be higher scoring without LeBron. I think it's pretty fair in the low 30s, to be honest with you. I didn't touch the total in this game, but I do have a bet that I added about the total in the first half here, which I do think is going to go over. That's scrolling at the bottom, and I'll run through that with y'all in a second. But yeah, he just went for 28 against his squad in the same situation. Some of the stuff I'll show you today too, some of the cheat sheet stuff, so you can see how defenses do versus play types rather than just player types, right? Like I want to know how they do against a specific play type, no matter who's running it. And the Lakers suck against everything Dame does. We know that. That's why we took him with points last time instead of assists in this matchup, and we'll probably do the same thing here today. So I did like the value that I got last night on Dame. So I took him at 22.5 points, knowing that was going to go up. And then the other one was D'Lo, which probably has gone up a little bit. I definitely snagged that minus 110 at 7.5. So hopefully you are subscribed to the page so you get this stuff a little bit earlier than when we come out with this stuff on the live stream, as these things definitely move. I did that video last night, so stuff does move, right? But for D'Lo and the assist, this is a little ladder play for me. I think a lot of people are probably going to be on this because if you look at D'Lo with and without LeBron, it's obvious what happens. He goes up in those assists big time, 16 potential assists, almost 17 without LeBron in there in 9 games this year. And then you look at the total assists up nearly 11 for him, and those minutes rise about 3 to 4 minutes as well extra for D'Lo when Libreezy is on the bench, and he's doubtful. Probably he might already be ruled out in this one. I appreciate you guys jumping in the comments to also let me know what's up on these injury reports, since I'm like jumping around doing so much stuff right as I'm trying to put this together for y'all. But let me throw a couple more things at the bottom for the updated card that we want to add to it so we can take a look at it. And there's some fun games today. Like these are some good matchups. Obviously, it sucks that LeBron's not playing. Some people that I know and respect do think that Milwaukee's going to slap them and win this game by the 8. I mean, it's already got up to 9.5, right? So there's clearly people betting on the Lakers to cover, but or excuse me, the Bucks to smack them. But the thing that I'm going to look at too in this game is the first half, like I said. So let me throw a couple of things up here on the bottom to add some to what y'all are putting in the comments real quick. Free Sauce talking about Giannis over 29.5. I mean, yeah, both these dudes, I would expect them. If you like Middleton as well, like that could be a good bet. I got to look at Middleton a little bit further before I get into that, but I do know the Lakers have been weak against jump shots, and that's what we know Chris Middleton's going to do, especially from the mid range. But let me throw. We'll basically just look at that game, so I don't really even need to. I mean, we know who we're going to be looking at in that game, so I'll add it to the bottom real quick. We'll get into it. Up to things that we still got to look at real quick. I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna put in Giannis and Chris Middleton. Let me see what else we got in here real quick too. Bam turns into Black Jokic when Jimmy's out. Is Jimmy now out officially? Is that what you're saying? Did someone say that? Yeah, and then Jimmy got ruled. Like, how are you supposed to even predict when Jimmy's going to get ruled out, bro? That's insane. I did look at Zion, and I'm going to look at the Pellies in general coming in from DB because I do want to look at the Pellies. I think Zion, the thing about Zion is like, yeah, he's probably going to take a lot more shots. The data says that he should be getting more boards in this one, so we'll see what he can do there. In fact, let's just start there real quick. Let's start with that game in New Orleans versus these two squads and bring that up for you guys. Because couple things I'm looking at real quick. You see Dine's big ass head in there. What I'm looking at here is which dude is going to get boards, right? And so I was looking at some stuff without BI in there. Who's getting a bump in minutes? Who's getting a bump up in their rebounds as well? The rebound chances. If you look at the last 2 games for this Pelly's team without BI, who left in the middle of that Orlando game, they had a little bit of struggles in that first game after he was gone, and then Zion came back and had a real nice game last time out. And really, it's just about like rebounds for me, because this OKC team is terrible at rebounds. So I wanted to find out who was getting boards right away for this team once BI is out. And if you look at the with and without stuff, right, without Ingram, these are the dudes that are affected the most, which makes sense. Like the 4 most played wing dudes on this squad. You talk about Trey Murphy. He goes up 2 boards and 4.5 minutes. So he's getting the most, clearly like the most usage as a result of BI being out in this season anyway, which has been about 8-9 games for most of these dudes in terms of playing without Brandon Ingram this season. Najee Marshall was a dude I was considering as well. And here's also what I was looking at that kind of got me to start looking at these 2 dudes, most of these dudes here. If I'm sharing my screen real quick, I'll show you the rebound chances over the last couple of games without BI in there. You see the dudes who have been dominating that. So I'll add this to the stage real quick, and you can see I'm going to look at players tracking. If you're not familiar, I got to shout it out. I know a lot of people already coming back and know what's up with the player stats on NBA Advanced Stats. But NBA Advanced Stats is going to have everything you need if you don't have a model pulling this stuff through already when it comes to like tracking players as much as well as anything, especially for free. So if you go to rebounding under the tracking, and let's just look at the last 2 games for this squad without Brandon Ingram. Not that Brandon Ingram's like the best rebounder of all time, but with how bad that this OKC team is rebounding, I do want to know who's getting a bump in usage and as a result getting a bump in minutes, and as a result getting a bump in rebounds and rebound chances. So you look at the last couple games, makes sense. Obviously, Joe Val is going to get boards no matter what. And then his backup has really been Larry Nance Jr., but they have been playing quote unquote small ball, where Zion plays the 5. Najee Marshall comes in alongside him as well. Trey Murphy's like 6'9". So like they're just tall at every position anyway. So it doesn't matter if they don't have a true center in a lot, especially with how Joe Val's played on offense at times as of late. But you see him only getting the 20 minutes, 14.5 rebound chances is a lot in that amount of time, but it's not like he's getting too much more time. And he's probably not a great matchup for when Chet is in there, unless they want to make, punish Chet down low, which they can do with Zion at the 5. So the interesting thing here is that Zion is all the way down here at 7.5 rebound chances, which scares me. I'm not saying that he's not going to get a ton of boards in this game necessarily, but the rebound chances scares me. So I'm trying to find the most value based on whose number is the best. And honestly, I land on either Najee Marshall or Trey Murphy the 3rd, right? Now, this is a high number, obviously, for his rebounds that he's actually pulling down compared to the 11.5 rebound chances he's getting. It's a decent amount of rebound chances, but to get 8 boards is a lot. At the same time, his number over here on props.cash and what we're seeing on most books for the rebounds for our guy Trey, whose first name is not Trey, by the way. I don't know if y'all knew that. That's like his nickname. And he's just so good at shooting threes that they're like, well, your name's Trey now. But the 5.5 boards you get at plus money for Trey Murphy, that's enticing, right? That's tempting. And honestly, same goes for Najee, because Najee's over here at 4.5. And you get basically close to even money, -110. You can get 105 on BetMGM. And you look at what Najee's done in the last 10 games. He's been getting about 20 minutes. Last 2 games, he's up to 23, 22.8, and 24 minutes in the last 2 without Brandon Ingram. You can see on the, if you look at the graphic again, you can see that Najee gets about 1.2 boards more per game without Brandon Ingram in there, and he's getting 3 more minutes per game. So on average, like, you can probably bump up his roughly, let's say, 19-ish minutes to about 22 to 24 and feel like that's probably a good number there. They trust him to come in and do that. Larry Nance doesn't really get any kind of change in what he does, so I didn't include him because he's just Joe Val's backup. So as he's the backup center, he's not really in the same class as what these dudes are in terms of the wings. So that's kind of where I start with all this is like, who's the best value? And I would take either of those dudes between Trey Murphy and Najee Marshall. I haven't clearly not made up my mind yet, but it is tempting with the fact that Najee's up at 13 rebound chances over his last 2 games in this exact kind of situation. Now playing a bad rebounding team, getting a lot of good high rebound chance percentage on his opportunities there, but that is still within the range of someone that I feel comfortable taking. Like, it's not like he's had too many outlier games in this stand from that standpoint. So that's definitely where I'm going to go. I'm going to put Najee in here at over 4.5. The thing with Trey, to put him in there as well, is that you get plus money on it. So that's also pretty tempting, as his minutes are going to be up at around 32. And you see the 8 boards he's pulled down the last 2 games. This is probably at about 4.5 before they bumped it up as well. And just with the minutes with Trey, like I really want to take both these dudes. I'm going to throw Najee Marshall on the card here, and I'm going to get that up on the bottom, so that's obvious what I'm betting. If you did not see as well, let me go through a couple of the other things. Make sure y'all see on the bottom line what I added to the card since that video from last night. But we're going to take Najee Marshall over 4.5 rebounds for -110. That was on FD. I'm going to put 0.5 units on that. All right, so the scroll on the bottom now has some of the updated bets. If you missed the early card, a couple things that I added too. So Dallas at sack, if you see that at the bottom, I added that for 0.7 units for Dallas in that game to go, both those teams to go under. I also put that first half bet in as an over for that Milwaukee and Lakers game, 0.5 units on that. And you can see the next thing scrolling there is the live under for the second half of that game. I'm going to take a look at that. Another under I took right there was Jonathan Kuminga to go under his points, rebounds, and assists. So I'm going to take an under on JK in this game. Bad matchup versus the Miami Heat here. So I didn't get time to make graphics for those, but those are the added bets that I've got now that are scrolling on the bottom. And I'm just going to make clear that the reasons that Giannis and company are on there is because we're going to be looking at them as the next up things that we want to look at. So if you are new, jump into the comments. Let me know what y'all got and add it. We'll add it to the things we're going to look at here in just a minute. But yeah, I got a couple of the added bets in there, so make sure you check those out. I'm going to add. We're going to take a look. We're going to start with this Lakers game, but I wanted to make sure I got you that OKC bet from the Pellies, because that was something I was looking at real quick. Was it good, Mr. Mechanical? Trey's still going to be a good play. Anthony likes that for Trey's rebounds, and I can understand that. So that's something I'm going to look at too. Let me bounce over to that game real quick. I can see that too, by the way, the under in that Golden State game with the Heat here. I mean, it does feel like a good look for the Dubs more than the Heat, to be honest. You could get the Heat at like plus 114 on the money line if you were going to take them. And if you're going to take them on the points, I might as well just take them to win it. But let me take a look back here at a couple of the stuff from the Lakers and Bucks game, because I do have a couple bets in there already, as you saw with Trey Murphy, or I'm sorry, with Dame and D'Lo. Already got those in, so those are 2 bets that are scrolling on the bottom as well. So I'm going to look at the this game here between the Bucks and the Lakers. And like I said, where I was starting with this one was the top of the key stuff for Dame playing against this Lakers team, and the same stuff for D'Lo to get his assists in this one, as we know he does without LeBron. But if we're looking at Giannis in this matchup, like with Giannis with these high props, it really just comes down to, do you think this game is going to be close enough for him to be in there for the whole thing? And the answer is probably yes. I mean, Giannis is going to get minutes no matter what. Then do you think that there's anybody that can necessarily stop him? The head-to-head stuff obviously entices you as well. You look at how well he's done against this Lakers squad whenever he plays them, and they have not been quite as good down low defending inside the paint, right? So we can even just start with general and look at opponent points in the paint in general, because that includes the entire paint. On the season, you would think the Lakers would be better, but in the paint, they're bottom 10 overall. If we look at the last 10 games, can look at opponent points in the paint for them. Still going to be down here, even worse than they were, 24th overall. So that is one spot you start looking. Where Giannis is scoring from. He's taking all his shots right inside the paint. If we want to look at play type, the problem is I can't look at defense. If we look at transition, or if we look at the pick and roll man and how they defend that for the Lake Show, which Giannis has been doing a bunch more, I will say. The amount of possessions per game that they have somebody as the roll man against them, not too bad. Not happening that often. Right, they kind of limit that play in general. Not too bad there. So they probably get Giannis coming off of the drives action anyway, which he's doing. If we look at them playing ISO defense, they're not great against in terms of points per possession. They give up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th most points per possession on ISO plays. That Giannis is running that ISO. That's good for like the 5th most points that they give up as well. So that is going to be they're going to struggle to guard somebody like Giannis. If we put him in courtside pal real quick. I don't feel confident that the Lakers are too good at stopping what he wants to do, but let's start with his points and look at how they defend somebody like him. He's also somebody that just defies what a position is, obviously. LA doesn't seem to be too bad actually against Giannis's particular type. I mean, Anthony Davis has played impeccable defense all season, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. We look at Giannis's boards against his squad. They've been a pretty good rebounding team too all year. Still about 14th. He kind of defies all this stuff. What it comes down for Giannis is like, do you think that he's going to be the one in control for whatever reason? And the thing that always cuts into his usage for me is Dame, but obviously that hasn't been the case this year. And the one time that they played, and they had a pretty good game in that one. That one was about a 243 total. It's just all too high for me. Honestly, like these, I don't like playing like these types of props unless I'm going to get some like better value where I just take him to go crazy. And like even getting 40 points in this game probably doesn't yield you that good of a return. I mean, 23 shots is a lot, and it always will be. But this is a number that he lives at, right? In terms of the same type of usage that you expect, 34-ish minutes in this game from him. I mean, the way that they're not really chasing the 1 seed at this point against the Celtics. So like they don't have to like go insane without LeBron in there. I do think this one slows down a little bit. My bet in this game is going to be the under that you see there. And I want to talk about the second half stuff real quick. So a couple of the notes that I have is, and I was looking at some of the first half stuff, right? If we go to these traditional stats and we look at, and I'm going to go to advanced real quick and look at the first half and trim it down to that, you can see that the Lakers and Bucks are both going to be high scoring, not trying as hard on defense type of first half teams. Lakers playing at the second fastest pace in the first half on the season. And the Bucks are still down here at 8th, but about 101.6. And most teams play faster in the first half. So it makes sense that you have some higher totals here, but you look at the defensive rating too, for both these squads. 25th in the first half for the Lakers and 20th for the Bucks, playing real bad D in the first half because they're just going up and down and getting a ton of fast break points, right? If you look at the second half, so that's why I do like the over in this one. The Lakers have actually been scoring about 62, 63 points per game in the first half over their last 10 games. So that's the first thing that gives me that look. That one I played comfortably at half a unit. The live betting opportunity here is the Lakers slow down a ton in the second half, and both these teams play better D in the second half as well. The Bucks don't really slow down, but they do play way much better defense than they were playing in the first half of games. So if you look at the pace in the second half, yes, the Bucks are 4th but that's still slower than they were playing in the first half. And then you look at the Lakers down here at 13th, much slower, right? About 5 possessions less per 100 that they're playing in the second half. So, I mean, Bucks are going to have that down a bit. Also, just the defensive rating, way better for both teams. 11th for the Lakers as opposed to 6th worst in the first half. And the Bucks at least up to 16th, where they were down at 20th in the second half as well. So they both play better D. They both slow the game down, especially the Lakers. And so there is the opportunity to play that second half, which I don't think the second half is already live, right? Like we got to wait for the way that's going to go. Yeah, you can't take a second half bet just yet. Obviously, they want to see what that's at, but you can go in there live on places like DraftKings, whatever sportsbook you're using, and find the highest total, the game total that you can find. As soon as it gets like, if this thing gets up to like 240, 245 in terms of the live total, that's when I start looking at the under between these two teams, where the Lakers don't have LeBron. They're going to wane in the second half no matter what. And that's where that bet was from. But make sure you stay tuned for that live betting stuff as well, so you can check that out. As far as Middleton goes, that was the next one people wanted to look at. If we look at Middleton real quick and pull up his stuff, I have not been paying attention to this man. It's very annoying to have to figure out when he is or is not going to play. Like there's a missed game in here between the 24th and the 20th. And yeah, did he play against the Lakers last time they played? That was the game that he missed, was against the Lake Show. If you look at the last couple of times he played them, that was just way different scenarios. This is going to be last year in February, and also in the year before, like in the beginning of last season, in terms of playing the Lake Show there as well. 17 points. So yeah, I mean, it was a different time too for Middleton. In his last 10, he's been playing some games. That Boston game he played well. We want to look at, like, obviously the minutes for him could be 29.5. I didn't get much as far as like a minutes restriction kind of update for him. What's up, Joe? So I'm not really sure where we're at with that, but yeah. You think Jameis thinks he's playing good minutes? If we look at the minutes for Middleton, like, yeah, the last 2, he missed a game in there, right? Like they had another one in there. Let me make sure I don't mess that up. I'm just going to pull up the Bucks game log last 10. That's an annoying way to do it. Bucks last 10 games. If we look at that on StatMuse, yeah, he missed the game against Brooklyn. He made these games right here, but then on the 8th, I don't believe he played against the Lakers. Yeah, no, he missed the game against the Lakers because he'd been missing about a month, more than a month between the 6th and the 17th of this month. That's hella annoying. The minutes for the last 3, they went up. I mean, he played 32.5 against Boston. They obviously needed him in that game, but yeah, it's just it's a crapshoot to me as to how much he's going to be used. And if this thing does get out of control, the way that this spread is all the way up at 9.5 points right now, the Middleton is a bit of a pass for me. That kind of terrifies me, to be honest. The Lakers, if we look at some of their stuff real quick, in terms of like where teams are scoring against them, I'm going to go to team opponent shooting on NBA Advanced Stats. I'm going to go to buy zone, because we know that Middleton is going to be let's do the last 10 for now, but we know Middleton's going to be a mid-range. Now let's do the whole season. I just want to know how good they are defending mid-range shots. So if we take a look at that by zone, oh yeah, we're on all season. Field goal attempts against, they're giving up a high frequency of mid-range shots, which is leading to a high make of mid-range shots and a pretty high percentage, still 43% from the mid-range. And that is where we know that he's going to be shooting from. If we go to players and we look at shooting for Middleton, that is going to be an interesting one. I see Ricardo talking about Daniel Gafford. We can talk about that too. I'll put that in there. But for Middleton, if we look at players by zone and we filter this to just the Milwaukee Bucks, look at who's shooting the most mid-range for this team, it's actually been everybody else. I mean, he's only been playing, this is not in very many minutes, obviously, so 3 is still going to be a high frequency of his shots. And is this the last? Oh, this is the last 2 games. How did I get on this? I need to refresh this. By zone, all season, mid-range shots. Yeah, Middleton's got the most of them, shooting 58.4% from there. I mean, he's going to have to take like a good amount of them, obviously, from there as well. Not even taking the field goal attempts. Let's look at the last 3 games since he's been back from that injury that kept him out like a damn month. In the last 3, yeah. So this is where he's at in the last 3, taking, not that many shots as we saw here on props. It's easier to see there with his field goal attempts if we go down to him. In the last 3, 11, 11, 15. So about 12.5 shots or so per game over his last 3. 12.5 to get 15.5 points right now. Could be there, but what's the say? 25 and 27 is the number that I would look at, maybe a little bit more. He has seemed to play in big games. They kind of have him coming in for these Oklahoma, Boston, Phoenix. He missed the game against Brooklyn because they were like, we don't care about Brooklyn. So that's a pretty good look too. For at least for Middleton, but the volume's high. 16 points is a premium at this point. Honestly, you got to pay for the number going up. People have been betting this up, so I'm off of the Middleton stuff. It doesn't behoove me to look at rebounds. Even just had a 10 rebound game in the what was that, in 27 minutes for Chris Middleton. These feel like outliers too, to be honest. And I believe Giannis might have missed one of those games for him. I mean, as far as the rebounds go, you you could take it. That feels like a crapshoot with Chris Middleton. That's not like something I can bank on, knowing that he's going to be down low for any more specific reason other than who he's guarding. But even then, with Bobby Portis getting minutes in the second unit as well, it's a pass for me on Middleton there. But I want to look at one more thing from this game that someone brought up here, which was Austin Reeves. We got someone saying lock it in with Austin. Let me look at him real quick. And we know obviously LeBron's not playing, so that's kind of where I start with Reeves, all the way at the bottom where they got him. 18.5 points, pretty high. Obviously, that's going to be with him taking a few more shots. He peaked at 18 twice versus this squad. Was LeBron in both those games as well? We look at LeBreezy out. And yeah, 18 and 18 without LeBron twice, dating back to last season and the last time this season. The last 10 for him without LeBron, he's gone over 4, and that dates back to that's last season. So this is the last 9. He's gone over 4 and 9 this season without LeBron. Yeah, you can see that right here, averaging 19 a game because he had some spikes against Boston and such. Let's put Austin Reeves real quick in the into courtside power real quick and see what's up. Is the question would be if he's running that pick and roll. Honestly, that's kind of where I start thinking about it, because if he is running more the ball handler stuff from the pick and roll, then he probably will. Yeah, he does have some good scoring profile numbers against this Bucks team right here, as you can see. The assists for him, yeah, not something that I would. The assist, I'm sticking with D'Lo, so I don't need to have 2 people in there. But he does score a lot. That's a Lake. Where did they go? Did I just talk about the Lakers? He was playing the Lakers? I'm an idiot. I gotta be looking for Milwaukee. Okay, they've been better against him in small forwards. Yo, I got confused. Let me look at points, shooter, Milwaukee. Okay, no, I did not get confused. We're good. So he is somebody that's going to score against them. If we look at players real quick and we look at play type, it's different because he's going to be doing different things when you look at him as the pick and roll ball handler for this team with AD. Like that could be a lot of their action, but that also will probably get used up by D'Lo, as you saw with him being the main ball handler last game that they played without LeBron, which was against this team. Possessions, 6 possessions here per game for D'Lo. That's only going to go up, but Reeves is second, and he might even just be running a bit more now that LeBron is out, to be honest with you, and he is very efficient at it. And that is a play that they run a ton in here, and you can see right away if you go to play type. And I want to see how much they run it as a whole for this Lakers squad real quick in terms of possessions per game that they're running pick and roll. Not too bad. If you look at frequency, it's a little bit down there because they play faster. How efficient are they at it? Not even that good, honestly, points per possession. But still going to be around the top 15 in terms of points per game. Now that LeBron's out, though, I mean, if we look at pick and roll ball handler defense, we know that the Bucks are tough, or not tough, rather. They're easy to get by. It happens a ton against them, the most in the league. They give up the 4th most points per possession, which is good for the 2nd most points, behind only the Pacers here in terms of giving that stuff up. So that is something we could look at for Austin, honestly. I mean, in his last bunch without LeBron here, this is his last 10 without LeBron playing. If we look at Reeves minutes, he's up at 32 this year alone. It's probably actually a little bit less because that 38-minute spike last season against OKC when nobody played. The field goal attempts are still, they're just not as high. Like that's a big thing. If we just go to StatMuse real quick and look at Austin Reeves with and without LeBron this season, 9 games, he does go up 4 points, so he is getting above that. Like we saw, the assists don't really go up at all. It's just the points, and the minutes don't really go up at all either. That's what I was saying. It's not even 32 minutes a game. So this is right at his number. That doesn't give me enough of an edge, even with his propensity to score against the Bucks. Like we just saw it happen. I don't have enough, honestly, to like make me feel like something's changed in a way that he's going to like now get it when he just did this thing and didn't do it. I'm not, look, you hit it, and you think it's good at 18 and a half. Like I support you for sure. I'm going to be rooting for him. But it's a pass for me on Mr. Reeves. Let me look at a couple others that we hear. Yeah, Dave's a big pass on Middleton. That's where I'm at too. So bonus under rebounds, bro. That's a look that my boy Nate had as well. 14 and a half is a lot of freaking rebounds, fam. So like, we'll look at that. You said AD assist too. AD assist is always interesting. I love those little weird props where it's like, it's not something this dude does, but there's going to be a reason that maybe he does it this game. So I would imagine the idea is that they double team down low a bunch more. AD's at 3.5. Damn, I thought it would be 2.5, honestly. But yeah, with LeBron out, let's look at him real quick without LeBron. Wait, let me just do this. Well, no. Anthony Davis with and without LeBron this season. If we look at AD, 8 games, 4 more points. Basically the same in the ancillary stats here with the rebounds and the assists. So not as much to look at there. If you look at the assists, we do it without LeBron right quick. Take LeBron out of here. And we look at him this season, half the time going over. 3.5 doesn't give me that value, though. That's really what it comes down to, is like, if this was a bet where I was getting plus money, or it was like 2.5 for bad money and I could ladder it up to 4 for like really good money or something like that, then that might be a play for me. But I'm going to pass on AD in this one as well. So let me just update stuff real quick for y'all. Did not add anything to the card, though, because we passed on Middleton. I'm passing on Giannis. Like, it's just one of those things where like I don't have an edge to play there, and everybody wants to play Giannis over, so like they know that, and they're gonna juice that stuff up, which just doesn't help me obviously find value, right? So I'm off of that one, and I don't have much else for this game. There was nothing else that really stuck out to me about something in this game that I could look at. Obviously, no, not Bobby Portis. No, that's not where I was looking. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. Let me move on to a different game where I know some people were talking about some stuff. I do want to look at I know it's already over here, but I saw something else in the comments for somebody that wanted to look at something there. G-Bag says Josh Giddey. We could look at him real quick. That's who I was trying to think of. Not was Rui from Full Court Ball. What's good, fam? I'm talking about the stuff for Rui props. I am gonna keep an eye on that. I'll go back to that real quick after this one right here. So let me put up Rui, because that is a good look without LeBron. But if we look at the other ones that we do have up still, I was looking at real quick. We are in here. Zion was somebody who we were looking at. That was something that people want to talk about. So the assists just flew up. I think a lot of people were hitting over assists in this game. The rebounds are interesting to me because you can still get 6.5 in places, or you can take good money, plus money to get him to go over 7.5. But I was looking at the rebounds already with you guys, and like the best value was Najee. I think Trey is a fine play at like with a sprinkle. In fact, he's almost like a good hedge. In fact, I'm now that we're back here, I am doing it. I'm putting 0.3 units on Trey Murphy as well for his rebounds. He and Najee Marshall just get so much benefit from Brandon Ingram being out by having a few more minutes on the floor and both them being really good rebounders. So I'm going to add. We added Najee and we're adding Trey. I'm taking Trey for for a little bit less than half a unit. So it's 0.3 units on Trey at plus 110 because of the fact that we get that plus money. And I think I see it as like a little bit of a hedge of Najee, of like someone's getting boards and Zion might just eat him up and that's fine. We deal with it. But like for me, I don't think that's something that he's going to like focus more on necessarily. I think his points is a good play, but it's got pretty high at this point, which is annoying. But Trey plus 110 for over Trey Murphy over 5.5 rebounds. We get that at plus 110. So we put 0.3 units on it. And we add that to the Najee bet as well. Whatever, if you want to go ahead and parlay those two things together, that's fine. Probably get some pretty good odds. Hopefully, that's the thing. If you take a prop like that where you bet, you parlay, let's say like Trey Murphy rebounds over with Najee Marshall rebounds over, those things are negatively correlated. So if they don't give you good juice for that, then I'm out. Like you got to give me extra juice for the fact that those two things impact each other before I feel good about that bet. So that's one thing to always consider when you are parlaying teammates props, especially, right? Or if you're just anything that's negatively correlated, like I said. All right, cool. Yeah, I remember. No, this is not the Kings game, but I am going to put Sabonis in there because I want to look at him. Everybody always wants to look at Luka. We know that, so we are going to put Luka in there as well. But Sabonis under rebounds was probably a good look, so I want to make sure I get that before I forget with my ADD. Put Sabonis under rebounds in there, which is 14.5 still. And I wonder if other people are sharply playing that. So we'll see if that actually drops in value for us. But put the Sabonis bet in there. And the other one from that game, always got to look at Luka, always got to look at Kyrie. But as you know, like I'm a little bit loath to play them just because of the fact that we don't get value on their stuff. So let me add the next up stuff to a different scroll too, so y'all don't have to hold up. Cool. So get that scroll going. So you can see the updated bets down there. Make sure you check those out. I know we got a bunch of new people in here, but everything's scrolling along the bottom. I'll talk about that sack at Dallas under 233.5 game, total bet as soon as I get into that game in 1 second. LA and Milwaukee, I took it over in the 119 in the first half. Also, at the next bet there is a live bet, second half under. If you get that up to about 240, 242, I think that's a good under. Haven't talked about Jonathan Kuminga yet because I haven't been in that game for the Dubs and the Heat. And to be honest with you, I don't want anything to do with that game because the Miami Heat are for sure on the no bet list. Jimmy Butler is for sure on the no bet list. Bam's on the sometimes bet list when he has a good matchup. And to be true, like he probably has a good matchup in this one. We'll see if Trace Jackson Davis plays. Not that that matters. If anything, he would just barbecue chicken him. So but yeah, let me put this next up for you so you can see what we're looking at. Passed on Giannis and Middleton. Zion, like it's high. Now that we're in here and we're talking about, like I said, I'm off the rebounds for him. Bro, the points, it makes sense that he would get points without BI for sure. If we look at this season without him, I think we saw it wasn't maybe a few points, but let me take BI out of the equation for a minute. And we look at this year, 2 for 6 going over 25.5 points. This is a decent matchup. Like it's if you put Zion up in the courtside pal, it's not like he goes like balls to the wall against his team scoring. The points are like pretty normal. As soft as Chet might seem, like he is still a pretty good low post presence, and J-Dub is a really good defender on like 4 to 5 different positions. So they're just good all across the board and tall at most positions are the Thunder. So that can kind of make up for it might seem like they get a big dude like Zion coming at them and they can't handle it, but that's not quite the case. The rebounds he can't get, they're 10th. They give up the 10th most to him. They give up rebounds to everybody, bro. So like they've been the fourth or fifth worst rebounding team in the league. That's why we targeted a bunch of stuff for. That's why we added Najee to the card, and I just added Trey Murphy to the card for their rebounds to get those. So Zion's gonna be a pass for me. I'm not even gonna waste y'all's time talking about that because I know that's gonna be a pass for me. So I'll give him the pass hand real quick. Then we move on to. I am gonna come back to Rui, but if there's nothing else from this game right now, then let's head over to that which one do we want to go to? I guess I'll go to Dallas Sack because, like I said, I'm just putting off the freaking Dubs and the Heat here, which I don't even know if I want to look at. So let me start with Gafford. We've been able to find some good value on Gafford, and what you got to look at with DG, if I can call him that, is obviously minutes. They're up there as long as he stays out of foul trouble. Sack, they do some fouls. It's a bonus. He's gonna be terrifying. But oh wait, and I'm supposed to talk about him, but I do love finding value with Daniel Gafford. So I'm gonna look at him real quick and see what we see with his field goal attempts. 7 to get 12 points. We're kind of getting bullied here. I bet this number has gone up. This is another site that I've been talking about a couple times, which is Betting Pros, and I'm sure y'all are familiar with them to a degree, but this is one of their best free tools, which is the ability to see previous prop lines for players. So if I type in Daniel Gafford, and I see some of his recent numbers. Now, you're not going to get this for like backups. Like, you can't even get this for like Peyton Pritchard, to be honest, because he doesn't get consistent lines at tip. So these are the lines at tip, but you can see this has definitely gone up, and he's become a popular bet. I mean, right when he came to this squad, he was at like 5.5. They had some 8.5 games there, and then he remained at 10.5. And now we're losing a little bit. I feel like even with 11.5, I feel like we're paying a premium, right? And when I say that, I mean like I said, yesterday's price is not today's price, to quote one of, if not the greatest show of all time. And so if yesterday's price was this, and now today's price is different, I feel like I'm getting gypped, right? Like, I don't want to pay something that just yesterday I could get for 11.5 or whatever. So that's what kind of turns me off about Daniel Gafford points, is that once the public gets its teeth into it and just jacks that price up, then I'm out, right? You just stole my value. That's what we mean when we say that we're betting against everybody, not just these books. So, the rebound chances was something I had seen very recently that had been going bananas for this dude. He doesn't have a very good rebound chance percentage, but let's go to rebounds under tracking for player data in NBA Advanced Stats and look at that. Let me look at the last. Let's do 10 games and see where we're at with Daniel Gafford on the Dallas Mavs real quick. So if we look at rebound chances, that's a lot of fucking rebound chances. 17.2, grabbing 8.6 of them. Somebody that at times has been considered a bad rebounder, but in reality, like, once you tell him, like, yo, just no blocks, more rebounds, it seems to be working out on this Mavs squad. Those have turned into 8.6 boards. This is at 7.5, but it's not great juice. So like a 7.5, if I was getting that at like minus 105, I think I'd feel a lot better about this with Gafford. But I don't have much to go with there. Like, the 7.5 is right around his number. There's no way that he's going to have good rebounding numbers against a team like Sac, who is a very good rebounding team. Daniel Gafford, let's look at his rebounding stuff against the rebounding profile on Courtside Pal. Okay, Sac's at 11. If we look at centers in general for them, and even in the last 7, how many they give up, not very many. I mean, they're basically middle of the pack on the season against the center's position, giving up rebounds. Are they bad? Not really. Still middle of the pack. So it's not like they're going to like really, really limit everything he does. But I do like an under in this game, which when I do like an under, a rebound prop is what I lean towards before anything. But like I said, I'm not getting the juice for Daniel Gafford, so I got to pass on him. I told you I'll look at Sabonis, and I do think the rebounds under for Sabonis is a good play. That is not a sentence that I have said very often this season, which is bet against him to get rebounds. In fact, a couple times that I did try to fade Sabonis, I looked like a damn fool, and he went for like, some 50 whatever combined stat triple double. So he has my attention when my ears perked when I try to go under, because I failed to do that. Let's look at his player rebounding props recently, and just change this to the Sec Kings, who are a damn enigma, man. Like, if you had them to win the other day in their game that they pulled off the upset, I'm already forgetting where they just played at. Well, not last night, but let me go to a stack player real quick. If we look at Sabonis, it was that Orlando game. I did not expect them to win. I called that an upset, because that was a game where they were on the road back to back. They've been getting beat, and that's just what the Kings do. When you think they're not supposed to win, then they go ahead and win. Although they did have a nice dub last night, and now that they're at home again, it's tough to fade them. But with that in mind, 26.5 rebound chances, which makes Daniel Gafford's 17 look stupid, as I was impressed by it. 36 on the rebound chance percentage. The thing is he's going to have bodies thrown at him at this point, because not only is Daniel Gafford going to be coming at him, PJ Washington has been an incredible defender and equally as terrible as an offender. So like that is somebody who puts that into perspective. The other thing for the rebound chances for him, this is last 10. let's put last 5 real quick, because that is when he started to go under a bit more, as like teams are like, I guess we have to box him out with like 4 dudes at a time. So 3 fewer rebound chances, still at the 15 in the last 5, but you can see going over just 3 times in the last 5. And the 2 times he went over, bad rebounding teams, bad against Washington, but that was shit show of a game. Orlando, good rebound team, 14. I mean, it's a play. The minus 122 means the juice and the value got sucked out of it. So it's like a little bit more annoying in that sense. But it would be the play for me if I was going to take an under for Sabonis, or if I was going to play his rebounds, it would be an under. Everything else is going to be kind of normal. If you look at what he does here, let's see, we got, let me put Sabonis in here real quick and see if the Mavs, and the other thing about the Mavs is they gotten so much better down low since they got Gafford and PJ Washington, that it's really tough to say, like, can they limit somebody like this or not? Because this is a full sample size, but they are a good rebounding team at limiting centers rebounds here, as you can see. For the, where did they go? Was I looking at the wrong thing again? I'm supposed to be looking at Dallas. Did I lose Dallas? No, okay, 19th. Yeah, that's not as quite as good as that, but they're still good at limiting center rebounds there. Specifically Sabonis. If you look at rebounds, limiting centers, yeah, I mean, on the season, not great as a whole. So yeah, it scares me a little bit. It's not worth it for me to try to get cute and play an under with Sabonis. It's like, it's a sharp look for sure. But I think that's a good pass for me. So I'm gonna pass on Sabonis. If there was anything else I know y'all want to look at the crazy stuff for Kyrie and company. If we look at like it's just a crapshoot sometimes, and I do think this game goes under. So I'd be a little bit weary of that. The reason I'm just gonna like talk about it real quick, but the reason that I like this under is heavily based on the overvalue of taking Kings overs right now. So everybody thinks of the Sacramento Kings, and this is where you can often find value too. We know public perception is the Kings play hella fast, but if you look at the last little bit, the biggest difference for the Kings has been, let's go to let's just look at on-off stuff real quick, and let's look at the last 5 games. I think Huerter's been out for all those games, right? Let me see if I don't think Huerter's played. Oh, he's played 1 in the last 5, right? And he barely played in that game because he got hurt and is out, Mr. Red Velvet. So in this, if you look at what that means, if we look at on-off advanced stuff real quick, Keon Ellis, if you don't know that name right now, like, look him up. Dude is clamps, right? Keon Ellis is already one of the best defenders in the NBA. And I gotta wonder how much we actually say we care about defense in the NBA, but guys like Jaden Springer are buried on a bench. Keon Ellis is buried on a bench. Kason Wallace is buried on a bench. And I just named 3 of the best wing defenders in the league, and none of those dudes can get points. It might be Herter. I'm going to call him Huerter, because if you don't want that E in there, why is it in there? I know it's not his fault, but until further notice, it's Huerter, also known as Red Velvet. I think there's one more nickname, but I'm not going to use that one. So the thing with, back-to-back is another good reason for this under coming from Mr. Mechanical. But Keon Ellis, just to get on my Keon Ellis high horse for a minute, like, bro is cold on defense. He's already got one of the best individual defensive ratings on the court for this team. When he's on the court, and this is like, everybody here that you see is not getting any minutes, but Keon Ellis is actually getting minutes as of late. And when he's on the floor, his defense, this team's defensive rating is way better than most other people, right? So looking at the next dude to get minutes, it would be sometimes JaVale, but De'Aaron Fox, right? So when you consider that, like, that's a huge difference from Kevin Huerter's 115, right? Defensive rating for when he's on the floor there. And I know that's not fair because it's a part of being on the second unit, but like, I mean, De'Aaron Fox's individual defensive rating isn't that bad as Kevin Huerter's is. So if you look at the on-off stuff for Keon Ellis, he's already this team's best defender. You look at the way the pace moves with on the court, you're going to see Huerter and is going to be up at about a 101.06. That's the pace when he's on the floor. The pace when Keon Ellis is on the floor is a 99.8, right? This is just how individual players are affecting their team as a whole. And this is enough for me to go, yeah, like, you got the back-to-back with these 2 squads. You got the Keon Ellis factor coming into play. You got refs swallowing their whistles. This is other big facts that you have to know about, which is the clear publicly known and stated demand from the NBA league office to make referees swallow their whistle a little bit more, make these games go faster, stop stopping the clock, don't give the advantage to the offense. We know that's been the case. The whistle has dropped like dramatically. If you look at any of those stats for how many personal fouls have been called, how many free throws have been given in the second half of the season since the All-Star break, it's kind of crazy. So I'll pull that up another time, but that's been facts at this point. It's not like just we're surmising that. So I love the under 233.5 in this game. All of that said, it leads me to go, like, be careful when you bet these overs and props. Like, Sabonis under rebounds, not a bad play. thing to consider is if you like an under, there's going to be a few more missed shots, right? And if there's a few more missed shots, then there's a few more opportunities for boards. And honestly, the Mavs have been so good at like their effective field goal percentage, making good shots and slowing down the pace a bit more, that they have given up very, very few rebound chances in general over the course of the last like 10 games. So be careful with the overs on this one and going crazy with it. Luka in his last 4 against this team has gone under 32.5 points. I know that's just a blanket statement. 2 of those were this season. So that's a little bit scary to kind of look at that one, right? I'm not necessarily looking at any Luka unders because I'm not a psychopath. And Luka, if you're going to take 24 shots and get to the line like 7 times a game and have 9 of those shots be threes against this team, let me look at his numbers real quick. His field goal percentage at 43.5%. That's terrible, right? In his last 4, his 3-point percentage at 25.8%. That's terrible. All of that's kind of outlier though, right? And he's still getting to the free throw line, only making 7 a game. That even right here, like 8, and 9 made free throws. That's a lot, but yeah. Appreciate you, Chronic Clay. Best of luck to you, bro. The points at 27. I lean under, but like I've been fooled by this before, right? I don't have an angle there that I feel great about. It would be a fade. If anything though, Dave, it would be a fade for Luka. I'm warning against the points for real. And I see some of y'all talking about the Dubs game. I am going to get into it, I promise. I'm being a coward because I'm stalling to get to it, but was looking for one more possible play in this game, and because of the under, I don't feel it quite as much, honestly. In terms of taking anybody's overs, I would be hunting unders before I did anything else. Who's Keon Ellis going to lock up? Let's talk about that. Whoever that dude is, I would take under for that man, and I don't have any kind of precedence to understand who that's going to be. But if it's Kyrie, I mean, that's not a man that gets clamped up if he doesn't want to, and I don't think he would let no Keon Ellis. I don't know. Yeah, I think Luka's an under if anything, but it's a pass for me. Kyrie is an under if anything, but it's a pass for me because I don't have any kind of use case of Keon Ellis taking on this dude right here and going at him like that. Maybe if you think Keon Ellis is going to get minutes because of his defense, let me look at Keon Ellis last 10 real quick. When did he start getting minutes? Yeah, he started getting minutes right around here when Huerter, whatever, got hurt about 4 games ago. You see that Memphis game, he played 33.5 minutes. That was a big blowout, I believe. So, well, no, actually, it went into overtime. Never mind. So there was more minutes to go around. 36.9 against Orlando. Nothing here to like tell me why he would or would not get more minutes for real. Like, not much there. Only 24 against Philly, although that was a blowout too. But you know what? Let me get to this Golden State game. I know some of y'all got bets in that, and I want to see if you what you guys are talking about in there. So if we look at the stuff you guys are saying about that, we got Terry Rozier points we're talking about. Let me throw that in the updated card here that's coming up. I passed on some bonus, but if y'all play the under rebounds, like best of luck, and I'm not telling you that's wrong in any way. Luka under, if anything. It would be a sharp play to take Luka, would it not? Under points in this one. I'm really thinking about it, but I don't want to just get excited about it and then give it out when in reality I might be missing something and then we look dumb as hell with a Luka over that hits. So I'm passing on all that, passed on Kyrie too. So let me look at this Golden State game right quick, and we can get out of here in about 10-15 minutes if we throw something down on this. I took under for Jonathan Kuminga, and we still don't know if Trace Jackson Davis is playing, but I don't really care, to be honest. I'm taking under PRA, which has now dropped to 20. No, you can still get a 25.5. So I already hit that. I think I got it minus 120. It's scrolling at the bottom, about to come up for Jonathan Kuminga under 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists against this Miami squad. Thing about Kuminga and how Jimmy Butler might impact this bet. I got a minus 125 on DK. Did I get gypped? Yeah, no, it might still be at that number. It might have been updated, but this is what it was like about 3 hours ago when I hit Kuminga under. The under for Kuminga is very simple. It's the Miami Heat. It's down low. Kuminga has been getting his stuff, his usage dipped into by other dudes who are finally back in the lineup. Like basically, you look at the last. I mean, look at the last 5, right? And we know that for the last 5, we've had Andrew Wiggins. We've had, and I'll pull this up real quick. We've had Wiggs. We've had TJD, we've had Draymond, right? And so what that does when we pull up Kuminga stuff, that's what's been the case in the last, let's say, 5 games. And he's gone over in 2 of them, one against the Lake Show, one against the Grizzlies there, which was kind of a blowout. But with these dudes in, like there's a bit of that usage eaten into. So if you look at, I mean, potential assists, he's all the way down at this point. Now that we got Chris Paul in there, there's lineups with Pajemski and Steph together. There's really no potential assist for JK to go around. So I like adding the assists. Those are at 2.5. I definitely hit the under on that before anything. Even the rebounds and assists is another thing that I would feel good about hitting, because he really has, once you have Draymond and Trace Jackson Davis on the floor at the same time, now you've got the two dudes who are getting the boards for this team. So when I look at the player tracking rebounding stuff for Kuminga, I'm going to look at the last 5 games and go to the dubs real quick in the NBA advanced stats page. And I'm going to look at rebound chances, and I'm going to find that he's behind Stephen Wardell Curry, right? So that that tells you something, right? In terms of where he's boarding up from, not doing it very well. Even if we put this at the last 10 games, and there have been a few more missed games in the last 10 for guys like Draymond and for Trace Jackson Davis. But even then, he's still behind Wiggs, who played looks like he played in 9 of these 10 as well. So, and we probably didn't have tracking data for one of these games. That's why all these are at 9. But the rebound chances, right? Like I said, they're going to Draymond and they're going to Trace Jackson Davis. They're even going to Brandon Bajemski, who's a feisty little dude, right? When he's on the floor, get one of the best rebounding guards, honestly, in the league, which is crazy because of his height. But to finish the point here with Kuminga, love the under for the rebounds and assists as well. I don't think we get much more. Whoa, what does 4 mean? I think that's a typo. This should say RA. It looks like there's a little weird bug on the site. Rebounds and assists 7.5. Now this is, hold up. Whatever, it's bugging. But yeah, you get the point for Kuminga. So he's also going to be trying to score from down low, not a place that the Heat give up points. You can see they give up the third fewest field goal attempts, third fewest makes from inside of 5 feet. That's where JK takes most of his shots. So that's a good under there if you like it. If we look at Jimmy now, or Bam without Jimmy, right? This is some interesting stuff. I think some of y'all were commenting on that as well. If I take a look at the comments real quick. Bam might just go crazy. It's a good point. The Clay stuff here, I'll just say real quick, G-Bag, like the reason that I would say like I did like Clay is the catch and shoot stuff is really bad for Miami. That's always going to be a spot where if a shooter gets hot against Miami and is a dude post like waiting for that shot in the corner off of the dribble drive, then guys like Clay are gonna succeed a ton. If we look at Clay real quick, and I know I'm getting sidetracked because I was just on some other stuff, but if we do look at Clay real quick, in his history versus this squad, he's only at 16.5 points. But with Clay, you gotta hope bro is hitting shots, and that's it. You're not gonna get easy buckets. He's only gonna get buckets that are tough to come by. He did go under once this season. In terms of who he was guarded by, I believe it would have been it was on the 28th. So I'd have to look real quick at who he was defended by, which I'm now gonna do because I can't help myself. But if I look at who he was guarded by, I don't even have a guess. I'll be honest with you. This Heat team is so like in and out of the lineup. I don't know who's playing that any given night that it's really tough for me to just be like, oh yeah, I'm sure that this is what happened in that game. Like who would guard him if everybody was playing? Don't even really know that off the top of my head, to be honest. I don't know who does play for this team. The 28th, we go to the box score here. This was in San Francisco at the Chase Center. If we look at the matchups in this game, first of all, look who was guarding Kuminga, just to finish that point. It was Jaime and Bam, and those are dudes that are going to be guarding him once again. I think he wishes Tyler Hero was in there to guard him, but Jovic will be there as well, to another big body. So like, there's dudes that can guard Kuminga on this squad. If we look at who was guarding Clay. Yeah, it was Duncan Robinson chasing him everywhere. Haywood Highsmith, was he getting minutes nowadays? I don't even think so. And then Jaime Jaquez, when he wasn't on Kuminga, was chasing Clay around. So like, those are all good defenders to take on Clay. It looks like Haywood got lit up a little bit. Duncan was doing work, but yeah, it doesn't really help me much. Like, Clay's such a crapshoot. It's just like, do you think he's gonna get the volume? Sure. Should his type of player be good against his team? Absolutely. 16 points to get 16 shots to get 17 points. That's the last 3 against this team. If you look at the last 15.5 shots, you can expect about 15 shots from Clay, right? If you expect 15 shots from Clay and he needs to hit 16.5, how many of those are threes? 10 of them are 3-pointers. In the last 10, about 40%. That's why he's been going off. So that's even all these good numbers here that you have to bank on Clay going off. And like, I just not something that in old time Clay that I want to have to rely on. Like I tried to take Clay a couple of different times. If he misses the first couple shots, it's not like he's going to stop shooting. But it's just like, is he going to come back? Is he going to start making shots? I hate having my money on that, to be honest. So I'm off of Clay in this one. I'm under with Kuminga. I want to look at Bam because he's always going to be a popular pick when Jimmy's out. If you look at the points with Bam, that's a high number, and it's going up. At least on MGM, they got that still at 21.5. Everywhere else, you can get 20.5 for decent juice. But that is a lot of points. Let's take Jimmy out of the equation here, which Jimmy's been out of so many games. Oh, I thought that said out for season. It said that's for Josh Richardson. For Jimmy, if we look at him without Jimmy, yeah, he's gone over a bunch this year. That definitely happens for sure. Yep. Yeah, that is a lot more points. The field goal attempts. Let's just do this real easy, real quick in StatMuse. Let's look at Bam Adebayo with and without Jimmy buckets. That's this season. My bad. This season, 20 games. Yeah, 20 games without him. 4 more points per game. Gets above that number. Gets another board and a half. About another rebound. Gets another assist per game as well. What do we say his assists were? I know people were talking about that always whenever Jimmy's out. Assist is definitely a look, right? Over 3.5, minus 125. You can get on DraftKings right now. That's a look. I forget who said that a minute ago. I appreciate it though. That is a look. Is Bam assist? I'm sure a couple people said. I believe Free Sauce might have said it a minute ago, but yeah. I mean, a couple people saying it. So let's look. Yeah, I mean that does seem like a play. If you look at these games, so with and without, we can do. This is the beautiful part about props.cash right now, where they deserve the hugest shout out, is that when you filter without Jimmy, you get potential assists as well. Whereas normally you got to pull through data and then go through like a lot more headache to find potential assists specifically in this situation. In this situation, we're talking about 8.5 potential assists per game. If I take that out for Jimmy this season, what's he at potential assist wise? 5. So that's 3.5 more potential assists. Yo, what's good, Chili Dudes? There, it's on the bottom. The scroll's got all these picks for y'all. So, Bam RA could very well be the move. Free Sauce, I see you, and my deepest apologies to everybody and to Free Sauce. I should have led with that off the bat. Dante, let's call him Dante Steph Curry DiVincenzo went dumb yesterday. Absolutely stupid. What do you hit? Like 11 threes. He pissed Body off. Did y'all see that? I know I got Knicks fans in here, so I know y'all saw Body after the game was like, man, I don't want to think about them. I don't care about them. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to think about getting my ass busted like that as well. And then Josh Hart was like, you don't want us to score threes and play better defense. And I was like, respect, bro. That was crazy. DDV just took over, flamethrowered him. And then after the game, Josh Hart was like, you don't want us to dance, then don't let us score in the end zone, basically. Like, fire. Love this Knicks team to death, bro. Jalen Brunson saved us. Like, crazy times. Let me hit Bam assists, right? 8.5 potential assists. He's talking about, let me put him in courtside pal real quick before I get too crazy. We had Bam out of the Bayou. Yeah. Monty's so butthurt all the time, dog. It's like you got an $85 million contract. Why are you so bad, bro? I cannot believe how funny that shit was. Set the record for threes for our boy for White Dante. But Monty Jones cracks me up when he calls him White Dante. Let me see for what are we looking at? We're looking at Bam assists. I'm hella sidetracked. Bam assists against this Dubs squad. Dubs haven't been giving up a lot of assists, bro. Yo, no, did that happen real quick? Got killed by Tatum's tip in at the buzzer. That put him over 7.5 rebounds. Damn, dude, that's a beat right there. That is a bad beat, Yehoshua. I feel you on that. For my namesake, too. What's up, bro? I feel you on that. That is tough. I stayed away from Tatum, and I was rooting for y'all the whole time. I saw him pick up his 7th board with like 3 minutes left. I was like, I bet y'all got this, because I knew a bunch of people were on under 7.5 or plus money, but I ended up staying away. So that's a bad beat for sure. The points for Bam out of the Bayou against the Dubs is going to be way better, right? Where he's standing at. Playmaker assist, though, is what I should be looking at. Yeah, and I was saying the Dubs don't give up a ton of assists. I don't think it matters if you center assist. This doesn't really matter over here. This is one where it's like, who cares how many assists a center gives up? And no, unless it's unless okay, hold on, I say that, but it's one of those things where it's like, I don't believe in a trend unless there's a huge outlier on the trend. Like if somebody's 11-0 against the spread on no rest, I'm like, all right, there might be something to that. If somebody's 8-6 against the spread and no rest. I'm like, well, what does that matter? Like that 8-6 is basically 500. That doesn't help me with data. But once I get an outlier with the center assists like this, I'm like, why are centers getting so many assists? Bam against this squad real quick. Head to head on the assists is looking good. Over on the 4, you get the shitty juice. I would take it for minus 125. I think that's the look real quick. I'm gonna ride with you on the Bam assists. And you talking about the rebounds and assists too. Hold up. That might is if that's better money. Yeah, it's a lot of rebounds. Ooh, 15.5 now. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of rebounds against this squad too. I mean, this team's been good as an offensive rebounding team, the Dubs, but not a defensive rebounding team. I didn't look at the rebounds. That's on me. Did I? No, I mean they've been a good rebounding team this season. That's what it is, man. The Dubs have just been a good rebounding team. Yeah, Bam in here. If I go down on courtside pal, it's tough to take that. The rebound chances without Jimmy. This is the thing they need to add is rebound chances. Let me look at Bam real quick. Miami. Let me look at. I'll keep it to last 10 for rebound chances for Bam for a sec. 18 to get. I mean that's not too bad, bro. 12.5. He's been killing it. I guess he's had some big rebound games though, like Detroit, Washington. Those are bad rebounding teams, but then some good ones too, like Denver and Cleveland. If we look at Denver and Cleveland, he probably shouldn't be good at rebounding against them, should he? Where's Cleveland at? I guess not as good. Oh wow, Cleveland. Why are you giving up 11th most rebounds to a center profile? And Denver 17th. So yeah, I mean he still had some good games against some good. Is Trace Jackson Davis out? Is that the case? Did he actually get ruled out? Look at my noties real quick and see if I got anything in there. I can't. I don't have any bet for. I didn't look too closely, Dave, at Keon Ellis. I would say that he's getting some minutes. He's out. Okay, got you. Oh yeah. He's out. Damn, the annoying thing is you might see that Kuminga line jump up to like 26.5 points in rebounds and assists. So if you get a better line, I would take the under on Kuminga still. And honestly, Kuminga with or without Trace Jackson Davis like has gone under this number at times. Like he's still playing the same amount of minutes and all that. No, Trace Jackson Davis is out. That's who's out, Dave. So yeah, let me just be very clear. I'm gonna hit the Bam assist, so I can still get minus 125. I think that's a ladder play for Bam as well. Let me edit that in the card here. I'm going to add Bam. We passed on Luka and Kyrie. And if anybody sees that we have Rui props, let me know. I would love to know about those Rui Hachimura props with LeBron out. We might get that pretty soon. Jump in the comments. I still have like a couple minutes before I'm done here if y'all want to go over anything else. But the last thing I'm looking at that I just put in here was Bam assists. Bam over 3.5 assists. I'm taking that from minus 125 on DK. He might just go crazy with those rebounds too. Like that might be a good play with TJD out as well. If Bam has like 9 boards in the first half, like God bless for sure. The bad juice, but I'm looking for a ladder here. So let me put 0.5 U on the over 3.5. Let me see what I got with Bam for the ladder play real quick. For those of y'all not familiar, I feel like a lot of y'all are. Plenty of smart people in here, but the ladder play would be I get better juice if I take an alt prop line. So I just starting with DK as an example. 11.5 is good money. If you want an alt rebound prop for him to sort of ladder it up, you could take only one ladder available here, 15 boards, which is hella more than the even money. But yeah, it's about 3.6 times more on your money than the even money for 12. That's 3 more. So yeah, that adds up. Getting about a dime on each extra board. That's not bad for a ladder play. It's not the best in the world. No Trace Jackson Davis matters for that Kuminga bet. That really fucking pisses me off. Yeah. For Bam, if you hit the RA, I mean, you might as well just hit the rebounds at that point too and make them 2 separate bets, to be honest with you. And looks like this just lost some steam on this book because somebody in DraftKings is in the comments. All right, let me see last thing here if I do have anything for Rui. For this one, the only thing now is if TJD is out, the Kuminga bet I like a little bit less. I was thinking about playing a Draymond bet because of the fact that he needs to be in there to guard Bam, but Bam might just have his way, bro. Honestly. Like Bam might just have himself a day, honestly. Let me see real quick. PRA for Bam. Yeah, against this squad, but without Jimmy. Let's take Jimmy out for a second and see what the PR. That's a high PRA number. Let me take Jimmy out of that real quick. Shoot, might as well take the PRA. I mean, look at all that green. Like, what if that was all we needed to know? I mean, then we would just go ahead and book it, right? So, goddamn, that is the last 10 this season on the season as a whole without Jimmy, 35.5 PRA. I wonder if anything happens when you take Duncan out. No, he hasn't even done that. Last year he went 4 for 5 over without both those dudes. That's a really high percentage, fam. And that is 35.5 minus 115. Is there any reason to bet MGM is drunk? There's no way that that's true. The 33.5. If so, that's even a higher percentage. Yo, yeah, 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 yeah. Bam. PRA is a much better play. That's what I'm going to be hitting here. I got a dip to hit that bet too. Like, I'm not the type of dude to just be like, yo, it's all green as of late, so go ahead and hit it again. But that is a high percentage of PRA overs at 35.5 and 33.5. There's no way. I'm just going to quickly look at BetMGM. There's absolutely no way it's 33.5 where everywhere else is 35.5, and BetMGM is that stale. Let me get over to these player props on, not right now, BetMGM. PRA, where you at, combos? Come on, meow. No, where my? Thank you. Give me my combo. There we go. Bam. Oh, yeah. See, it's 36.5 here. They just haven't pulled it through. All right, cool. I just want to make sure I wasn't missing two of them. But yeah, Bam, 35.5 PRA for Bam. I mean, why would I have to guess? I know, like I said, he might just have himself another day on top of the day that I would expect him to have. And we get that for, we can still get that for, it says minus 115. I'm gonna have to check, obviously, if I can get that in on FanDuel, but I'm gonna say minus 115 for now. And I'll update that in the comments of the video that's we posted on YouTube. We'll have the final bets pinned there. I do tell you the bets that we passed on. But if I actually am like, yo, do not bet this. This is a terrible bet. Then I will have an X next to it rather than just all these hands that I have up being like pass. But if I am like, yo, do not bet this, then yeah, there'll be a red X next to it instead. Let me move Rui off of here and let's look at him real quick, and then we can dip because I do got to get this Bam playing. God damn, I love that Bam play. Now that we found it. And was like, yeah, like whatever. Like, even if you told me like this was kind of a bad matchup for him, that's a fat sample size of 16 for 20 in this situation where he's going over this number. And this is, it's actually should be 35.5 because nobody's hanging 33.5 like that. But averaging 38.3, but going over with such a consistency. And the unders were at the beginning of the season. Like, yeah, there's some plenty of good squads in there, like Boston and Orlando. This might be an under, but Bam's gonna be doing damn near everything for this squad. Duncan's out as well. Like, book it. I'm good with it. If you can get, can you get an alt combo play for his PRA? Probably not, bro. That would be crazy. If you can get PRA, I mean, Bam triple double, 35-1. What about that? Like, I don't know. Why the hell not? I guess probably because the assist won't be that high. That's why the hell not. But yeah, you only have 4 last time you played this team without, which was earlier this season without Jimmy. In that game, he had 12 potential assists. 12 potential assists get you 10 assists, right? Like, I mean, it's possible. I might put like 0.1 units on Bam to get. Fuck it, we're throwing 0.1 units on Bam to get a triple double. I might look absolutely ridiculous once this is said and done. But we're putting triple double on there for him. Like, what the hell not? 0.1 units. Obviously, spend your money wisely here, but like, yeah, let me get that 0.1 units. It's 35-1 on DK, so I'll take that for now. And then the last thing I'm seeing about is Rui, and since I might not have Rui up here with props, right? Like, I don't think that those have come through yet. Although it might be on ESPN Bet, is what I was being told a second ago in the comments as well. If we go to the LA game right quick. Yeah, we got some Rui stuff here. Cool. So if we look at points for Rui, 15.5, we got to take LeBron out though, and see what that's like, because that's really all I care about is if I take LeBron out of here. Everybody's hurt in this game, dude. least for them. Yeah, it's not much for me. We got to dip. I got to get these bets in the next 20 minutes. But yeah, no, I appreciate y'all. We're gonna be coming back. I am gonna be out on the. I'm not doing a stream tomorrow on Wednesday. I apologize. Back on Thursday. Make up for Wednesday by having one on Saturday morning or early afternoon for y'all, like 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday as well. We're gonna be coming back. So appreciate everybody subscribing. If you can, like that video. Jump in the comments again. If you do hit me up on Twitter tomorrow, since I won't have that out, I'll still have a video tonight with final plays that I'll get to y'all by tomorrow. But if you do hit me on Twitter at JL Boogie, we'll get back to you and have that and chop it up. So good luck tonight, y'all. Until I see y'all tomorrow, happy betting. Not tomorrow, day after. Happy betting.